Let's see now. You have a bat chat. You both have. Oh, this is Prok encounter. Still surfing is mildly important. You can play the center like the 6th line. You can also go hill if you want. The hill is actually mildly effective, particularly if you get up into this like G9, G0 area. Roughly the same comps. You have 1 artillery, they have 2. Usually playing the 2 line is not so profitable. I'm guessing this is the EU server though. So usually if you're going to head down here, yeah, you should be in this bush line. You don't want to just be driving down the road. You might as well take your time a bit with that shot. You can get up through here to shoot him if you wanted. Well, it appears you are lit. It appears you do not have 6th sense on your 430. That is not a good sign. You definitely need to be careful. So they sent 2 of their big tanks, relatively immobile tank destroyers to this 2 line, which is an advantage to you because the team goal is over here. Most of your team looks like they went hill. You don't really have any surfers. You don't want to keep poking up there. It's not going to be profitable because either these guys are going to be able to shoot you or Artie's eventually going to get you while you're lit. Being in this bowl early is not necessarily the best thing. The artillery that you have is rather, it's not like a super splash artillery. So like shooting to the front of that JPE 100 is not going to be super profitable for your artillery. He is obviously focused there though, because he just shot him. So you should have relit the JPE once before you bailed to help out the artillery. And then it's the same thing from the 6th line. You could shoot the hill if they play back. People play the hill on encounter mode a lot like they play the hill on standard mode, which is not really how you should play it because there's no real incentive for the north to cross. Because why? But they do. I don't quite understand it. So you'll get free shots here. Lol. Needs more zoom. You can push forward and you can get shots on those guys if you want. And this is why I always shoot down this yellow house, because if you shoot down the yellow house, it'll be much easier to shoot those guys. Who are obviously content to let you guys just own them from the 6th line. You can shoot down that yellow house and it'll make it easier. Your buddy shot down the back of the yellow house for you, so that's good. And this is why playing that 6th line, you don't want to, particularly you don't want to be in the tall tank, but, I'm sorry, playing that 0 line, you don't want to be in the tall tank. But you want to be able to control the 6th line, otherwise you'll get owned in the face. You should pursue that guy. You should absolutely pursue that guy. You don't want to go too high here, right? Because those guys over there can shoot you too. You're a bit out of their draw now. Same thing, go back to shooting their guys on the hill. The mouse is right here. You can light the mouse just by going into this bush right here, or near this bush right there. You don't actually need to go in it. You should zoom. Needs more zoom. You're being lit by the mouse, right, by the way. So, artillery can shoot where you're at, etc, etc, etc. Your artillery can also shoot the mouse. The mouse is... There's not many other places you can go on a mouse, but it's really easy to keep that guy lit and get him killed. This E5 is pushing down here. You should probably try to prioritize this. You've got this side more or less locked down. You don't want to get let the E5 get all the way down here where it can shoot back into where you're at and where the other guy's at. You also need to do a little bit more zooming here. Like, you don't want to just kind of, at that distance, use a basically no zoom. Your team should be shooting that mouse, but they're not. You don't want to chase him. As long as he's lit, that's all that you really care about. And then you need to get out of the place where you're at, because see how they've gotten down into the southwest corner now? That actually makes it vulnerable for you. Lol. This is risky. We know that the E3 went out of the way, so he's not going to be a problem. But that JPE is still over there, so he's potentially a problem. He's not looking at you right now. The E5 and the E3 might be issues. You can potentially push that guy. Oh man, they're both there. Just stay someplace where the JPE can't shoot you. You can prioritize the SU-14 because the M53-55 just fired. And then be careful, right? See how this JPE, if he was paying attention, he could shoot you in the ass right now. If any of these guys are paying attention. And then the same thing, now you can shoot that JPE if you wanted to. Shoot those guys on the hill, shoot the waffle. Well, I guess you could shoot any of them. But you don't ignore the Centurion right now. You need to get these guys out that are in front of you. I prioritize the waffle at this point. Yeah, that works. And then run down that Centurion and just kill him. Okay, and then now what you want to do is you want to come back to this line and peek over here. Because you want to see where that JPE, how far he's progressed across. This E3 might be a problem, but the JPE is at least one shot. He's only got 132 health left. So all you want to do is basically just surf this hill right here to see if the JPE is driving towards you or driving towards the middle. He's going to be doing one of the two. So he's driving towards you. Ah! Oh my god. So all you needed to do there was just peek over, and then you could just go back and you could go around to the side of him, right? It's going to be impossible for him to drive over. So what you want to do, you have a bunch of guys on this hill over here. You can peek up over here. So now you basically want to surf the same thing. You want to surf how you would surf if you were from the north spawn. Just do a little cut, see if you can see where that E3 or the E5 are at. I wouldn't worry too much about that guy right now, because he's going to get lit when he pokes over. Now that guy you should get shots on. Needs more zoom. He's turning towards you. You don't know where the E5 is, which is going to be a problem. Presumably he's headed towards the E3, but you don't know exactly where. This 430 is coming up on the side. There he is. Oh, man. I would spot the 430. Figure out where the 430 is at. So all you got to do is just do a surf here. Oh, no, you come up right here. Just do a surf right here. There's nowhere that the 430 can hide. These guys are not looking at you. You can get shots on them. So just drive up here, ascertain where the 430 is. And then all you got to do is just make shots count. Lol. Fix that ammo rack. Oh, you already used your repair. That's unfortunate. I don't know why he's shooting heat. You should never switch to heat if you're fighting against another medium like that. There's never any need. It's only going to screw you up because you'll get shots into the track that you won't be able to actually deal damage with. Yeah, that shot that you took right there was risky as well. So, like, particularly if it's going to be a kill shot, make sure that you get him down. Take your time, especially when you're ammo racked. So they're pushing up on your guy on the hill, so it's actually probably more profitable for you to push over on this to this rock area over here. Because this guy is going to get lit right there, right? And so this is the same thing. Imagine that you're playing the north. These guys are going to try to push across on your whatever it is up there. Looks like a waffle. So be in a position to shoot him. At this point, just push the E3. At this point, just push the E3. No. Okay, no, wait, stay where you're at, stay where you're at. The waffle's dead, so that ship has sailed. That's just fine. You should zoom in. Zoom. Oh my god. Oh my god. And then just get ready. So, I don't understand how you lose this. So what you want to do is you just want to stay close enough to the T-95 that the E3 has to push through. Right? So as long as you see, right when that E3 fired, you should be pushing that E to the flank of the E3. Like, there should be no hesitation. You should have already been through. Yeah, I don't think the bat chat's actually playing. So what you should do at this point is literally just leave the cap circle. I know that you can't do enough to win, but let's pretend like you had enough shells. So what you should do is just leave the cap circle, right? Because it's a 3-minute cap. There's 3 minutes left in the game. You want to stop knocking down your own houses, certainly. Oh. Okay, so anyways, so I thought you did a fairly good job. So you moved over here, you spotted their 2 tank destroyers over here. That's fine, especially when you see 2 slow tank destroyers. And they ended up sending a lot down this 1-2 line on this west side. And that's fine. It's not really that big of a deal. It's not something for you to sweat at. You didn't really get a whole lot accomplished here damage-wise just because the matchups weren't really that good. But as soon as your Batchat artillery started bombing that JPE, you left. Like, you could have relit that JPE and allowed the Batchat to finish his clip and then gone someplace else, and that could have made things easier for you later. You then went over and played the 6th slide. You played it pretty well. Their team was kind of silly. They just kind of sat here on this ridge over here and allowed themselves to get shot the entire time, which is fantastic if that's what they're going to allow you. This mouse was sitting here. Wasn't quite punished enough by your hill guys, but that was fine. Pushing across was a little bit risky. One of the things that you should have noticed is that they were pushing down this one line with the JPE, E3, E5, and I think there was one other tank that's not coming to mind. But once you saw the E5 was the first one that was lit. Once you see those guys getting lit, you need to start shooting these guys before they get down here, because once they get down in this area, it becomes really easy for them to shoot into anybody that's over here, and you're going to be lit by that mouse and by anything else in the area. So pushing over to get the mouse was a little bit risky because that JPE was still over here, but he wasn't. He was completely oblivious, which allowed you to take out the mouse, which is good, and then the Batchat, which is fine. And then you started driving over and you saw the artillery, and that's fine. You drove back, you shot one of the artillery, the M53, M55, fired at you. And at that point, you know, you have to set a mental timer in your head that he's got 40 seconds before he can fire again. The biggest threat on the map to you at that point is that SU-14-2, who is also not paying attention to you. You continue driving forward. If this JPE-100 was paying attention to you, he would have shot you as you cross this area right here, and that would have been the end of the game right there. But once you took out those guys, that was fantastic. Come across here, you did a good job of shooting finishing off the 215Bs in the waffle that were up here. Ignore this Centurion, even though he's the guy spotting you, because these guys aren't shooting at you. The Centurion's not some super huge threat. There's no more artillery to shoot you, and then you can take out the Centurion. And then what you should have done is come back here, and then all you have to do is surf this bridge this ramp right here, and then you would have been able to spot the JPE 100. Again, he had a chance where he could have potentially shot you as you were coming over, but he did not. And then you can come over on this side to get a side shot on him, or you can go all the way over on this side to get a side shot on him. That's fine. And then you come over here. You wanted to light both the E3 and the E5 to figure out where they are. You lined up a little bit to get shots on the 430, which I don't know. I think that at that point you needed intel a little bit more than you needed to try to shoot that guy. You still had plenty of guys up on the ramp that were shooting at him. You needed to figure out where those other guys were and make them sweat so that they couldn't just sit back here shooting your guys on the hill. And then once you saw that 430 leave. You saw... Oop, darn it. You saw that 430 leave and head towards you, so you should have looked up there and figured out how far away he was, and then been shooting their guys on the ramp until the 430 got there. Or if you got shots of opportunity on that 430 coming in, then that's fine. That's what you should have done. And then after that, once there's only one tank left, and it's a slow, non-turreted tank destroyer, and it's you and that T-95. You got to be up on that T-95's business, because if he gets killed, you need to be on the flank of that E3. Yes, you didn't have enough shells, but that's one of those things. You need to be in the right place to make the right play happen, and you were too far back to do that. Okay, so let's look at the stats. Where did I put the stats over there? So you did like 9k damage, which is obviously fantastic. Your bat chat crashed, unfortunately. Those things happen. The E3 was allowed to do way too much damage for an E3, but what are you going to do? Overall, good shooting. I mean, there's not much that we can say about that. You got a little bit lucky on the that certain guys weren't shooting you. Which you always need some amount of luck. But otherwise, it's a fantastic game. GG and nice try. Alright, next will be T30 on Karelia. Alrighty, so they have a faster comp, so they'll probably take hill. It's still usually worthwhile to at least head over here to see if you can get a shot on any of their slower tanks coming in. But you'll probably lose a hill. You still have to play it out to see what they send, though. I don't really think losing the hill from this side is all that bad, because this side, puppies tend to play this area well. Puppies tend to play this area from the north spawn really poorly if they don't win the hill. But yeah, all right. So let's go southeast first, and then we'll see what happens.
Let's get this show on the road.
So you're sending pretty much all the tanks that you should be sending this way, which is a good sign. Looks like their light tanks are going out wide, which is also good for you. Looks like you're... Oh, okay, I don't know what you're doing. You're just looking at the ground for some reason. Don't go too far wide here. You want to be a little bit closer to that IS-8. They do have an artillery that can hit you. You're going into the ditch, which is okay. They only sent a 3002D up there, and you haven't been lit. So that's a good sign. So you want to prevent anything else from crossing right there if you can. Most likely the 2801 is going to be right in front of you. You should take a risk to shoot the 3002D. You don't want to let this guy sort of perseverate up there. So one of the nice things about this is that you can just travel along this ditch. He's coming around now, so you're not going to have that option anymore. See how he's being aggressive. Your guys are pushing him back now, so you should actually be moving up so you can shoot this 3002. Very good. And then I was gonna say you should pull back and then wait, because he's probably gonna die. And then when your spot is dropped, then you move forward. Yeah, it doesn't look like they're populating this side at all. So then you actually just want to take the hill. You don't want to continue pushing this side if you can avoid it. I'm at a loss for words for what their team is doing. Now you can go around this other side of this rock, probably be a little bit safer for you. A little bit less arty safe, but you'll be more safe from direct fire. Yeah, and once they're back there, just leave them back there, go up on the hill. You don't ever really want to push around through this side. It's just, this is what I was saying earlier, if you lose the hill from the north spawn, you don't want to get caught up in G9. You want the enemy team to funnel into F0, because that's where all of a sudden you get a lot of advantages. So you want to try to avoid pushing into F0 if you can, just because they have a lot of advantages if you do that. In the meantime, right, you could be shooting their guys that are coming across over here, which is really what you should be more focused on. Because these guys are obviously campers, right? They're not going to go around the other way and win the game for their team. So if you leave these guys here, and you come back later, they'll still be there. Like, you're just taking too much risk right now for essentially zero reward. You know, you're not helping any of your team because none of your team can get shots on any of these guys. And in the meantime, right, you could be shooting these guys that are in the cross over here. You could be shooting this T-28 that's out in the open over here. Right, you could be doing a lot of things right now. So even though you have this huge advantage now that you have the hill, particularly because the hill just ends up being such a strategically important place on this particular map, you're not actually taking advantage of it. You guys are pushing into this sort of blender that's over here. So it's been like a couple of minutes and you really still haven't done anything. You're not getting any better shots than you were 2 minutes ago, really. And you're not any less exposed than you were before. You're still the same amount of exposure. And at least the artillery is finally paying attention to you. I don't think you're really going to get shots on that E50 unless he pokes out on your side, which I'm not necessarily certain that he will. Like, I know the T-30 is like a slow tank, but like you had plenty of time to get up here. And I think he made it all the way down here initially with full health as well. It's just really difficult to push into this F-Zero without like some sort of flank, which is why you always just win the other side. Once you win the hill, you just make sure that this side is clear, and then you send somebody down here and you come around and you flank, because this place is really vulnerable to flanks because of the way that these little hills work here. So your team is just sort of hemorrhaging right now, and that SU-152 is getting up underneath your guys over there. Lol. Snapshot, best shot. And then, so this SU-152 is going to push up over through here, so I don't think you're ever going to get a shot on him until he comes around and gets over on higher on that area over here. You don't know where this T-28 is. You don't have any eyes over here anymore. The guys that were lit, you don't really have a chance to shoot anymore. And that's fine. You can still go up here. Don't worry too much about the 100M1. Yeah, if you're gonna try to use that corpse as something to block, you should actually move it more forward, because you can still get hit by artillery. You know, their artillery can very easily relocate to like right here, which would make it really easy for him to just shoot you. He can probably shoot you from even right there, which is not that far. Lol, non-turreted tank destroyer. Ramming speed! Oh, ram him again. Oh, here it is. Oh, he's a little bit fast. Just don't drive out there just in case something else is out there. Seems like artillery's up here still, based upon where that last shell hit. One else. Their T-28 probably had time to make it all the way to across the swamp. There he is! Get him!
Enemy vehicle destroyed.
Balls. And you want to back up. Actually, no, you're safe from artillery. You just want to try to bait them into shooting a track, so you need to stick a little piece of your butt out there.
Enemy armor is hit.
Lol, the HE is real. The 1375 is going to come down on this left side over here. The HE. And then you actually probably just want to back off here, because they're going to charge you. They both move down to the lower level, it looks like. And you need to peek off of the left side a little bit more, stick your left tail out there a little bit. Like, you still have room to back up here.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
Oh no! Oh no!
Bail out.
Yeah, you actually, if you left just like a second earlier, you probably could have done that. Um, so, anyways, the major problem that I had was when you sat in this, when you pushed forward here at all. Like going up to this rock is fine. You know, you can look over here and you saw that they had nines up here inexplicably. I don't know why, but they did. And so their team kind of fell ass backwards into actually having good position because your team continued to push up and basically funneled into them, right? Funneled into an area where they could get shots on you pretty easily, where their artillery, if their artillery was paying attention, could have gotten shots on you guys really easily. And then you sat in this ditch for like, you know, three minutes, you know, maybe it was longer, where you didn't really have that great of shots, but people were going to be able to shoot you. And again, if that artillery was paying attention, that artillery would have been shooting you. So in the meantime, their team was lit. You know, that T-28 was lit in the middle over here. You had guys, you had light tanks over here lighting for this area over here. You still had tanks on this side. They were lighting these guys coming across. So you could have had a lot of shots over there. So the general feeling that I have for playing Karelia in pubs is that you go south and you see whether you can win the hill or not. All right, and they gave up initiative, right? They were camping that Lorraine in the back. They were camping that E50 in the back. If those guys pushed hill, they would have crushed hill. You know, that's not even a question. They would have crushed your hill. But they didn't, right? So you were in a position to take advantage of that, right? So your team won the hill. Huge advantage to your guys' side because given the comps of the map. And then you just want to be able to exploit that. So what you do is you play this area to kill everything else out here. Because the advantage that you have from the hill is that anything that's lit out here, somebody's going to be able to get shots on them. And so you needed to play into that more rather than try to push into this. Especially when you know that they have 3 9s camping back here. I mean, that's good. That's good for you. You want guys that are just sitting here waiting for you while you kill the rest of their team. Like, that's how it should happen. But what happened was that you ended up sitting right here with these 3 9s while their team, their lower tiers, killed the rest of your team. And you can't allow that to happen. After that, I thought everything else that you did was pretty good. It was a very nice last stand there. You realized that 1375 was going to push around this outside K line, and you were able to pen him, which is fantastic. So if you look at the stats, an 8K damage game. You're very efficient with your shots, which is good. Didn't quite get as many as I would like out of a 11-minute game, but them's the breaks. Your team unfortunately did not contribute an entire lot, but that also tends to happen. I don't really feel like their team did anything special either. Like I feel like you know, even though your team didn't do a whole lot, like you still could have carried that. GG though, nice try. Alright, so the next game will be a T43 on steps. Okay, so let's see. Pretty similar comps. They have a big arty. You have 2 small ones. Usually, in that case, on this particular map, big arty's probably better. Yeah, all things being equal, I always go east. I think it's the better play. And you just hope that enough of your team goes over there that you can put some pressure on and force them to do stupid trades. We shall see.
Oh boy.
Yeah, looks like most of your light tanks are sort of not really doing the right thing. They're all going to go camp right there for some reason. T-37 is sort of YOLOing here. You can almost sort of do this because that will sometimes spot their guys coming across here, but you want to stay close to this ditch where you can just drive back into the ditch and curl back. He's going full YOLO, which is somewhat okay if you have enough firepower behind you to justify it, but usually they don't, so I'm guessing that T-37 is probably going to die. You have 2 light tanks with you, a tier 4 and a tier 6. That's not so good. On the plus side, their 5100 is still tied up there. Their IS-6 is still over there. You still don't know where their other 8s are. You know that there's a 7 over here. There's an ELC. You can push the ELC. The ELC is overextended. Gotta get moving forward a little bit more though. You gotta look at the map and figure that you're probably gonna lose on that west side at some point. So if you can clean up like these light tanks before, you know, any of their bigger guns can get here, that's probably to your advantage.
It's a trap!
Nope. That T-71. Nice. They're still just charging you. It's fine. Just let them charge you. Let them come in. And you've got well, a 12T with you, but you know, let him get his easy shots. And then you want to fall back a little bit, just so it's not so easy for both of them to shoot you at the same time. It's fine. Although it looks like they're splitting. Shoot the 2801. Shoot the 2801. Okay, never mind. Okay, and then so probably the 5100 is going to come up here. At this point, hopefully your guys get on the cap. And then so if these guys get on the cap, what you want to do is you want to screen the cap for this 5100, which will eventually be coming this way. And all you're looking to do is prevent him from just driving in. So you don't want to camp back here. You want to be up here. You want to be up on this side right here. It's more dangerous, but you're not losing the west yet, but you're probably going to lose it. Right, and once you put cap pressure on, oh, both of your guys left cap. Okay, so if these guys leave cap and actually move to screen, you should actually get on cap. Because like chasing after things right now is not a good problem. See, their 5100s over there. You should get on cap. Everybody should get on cap. Just get on cap. You can cap this game out before anybody can get over from the other side. You should not be chasing this guy right now. You should be backing up towards the cap. Cap is win now. Cap is win. If you get on cap, you will win. I give you a 100% guarantee. If you get on cap, you will win. Well, if you 3 get on cap, you will win. Two might do it. It'll be close, but 3 would guarantee it. And then you're more concerned about getting hit by artillery. Artillery is probably down in this area right here someplace, so make sure that your artillery is safe. Spot this KV-2 coming across. The type can potentially spot him as well. 5100 is the biggest guy. You want to track him. You're shooting to track here. No, 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 no. None of those guys are going to get to reset. 0 of those guys are going to get to reset. Only the 5100 can possibly get to reset. You need to stop the 5100. You need to shoot the 5100. You need to shoot the 5100. You need to shoot the 5100. This guy. This guy that's gonna go spot your guys and get them reset. This guy who's now shooting at you. Don't forget, Artie can still shoot you in the ass. Oh, he's driving towards you. Hey, if he's driving towards you, get his attention again. Get his attention again. Get him to drive towards you. If that 5100 drives towards you, that's what you want. You absolutely want that. You don't want to draw him closer to your team. You want to draw him further away from your team. You need to be up here getting that guy's attention. Too late. So 6 seconds from cap. This is how you throw away a win. Very sad. Now you can shoot the T-29. No. Now take out the guns, because.
It's a trap!
Lol. Alright, so let's review. You sent an AMX-12T, what was the other light tank? A PZ-38NA and a T-43 to the east. And pretty much the rest of your team was either camping in the base or went west. And you had a chance to win this game. If the three of you guys just got on cap, you can make an argument in that mid-game where you should have gone over here because their T-37 started coming back. You didn't need to push over to get that T-37. You certainly didn't need to chase down that Hellcat. Once your guys recognized that they needed to get on cap, that was fantastic. They got on cap. And then all you needed to do was screen. And then screening the cap means you need to identify which guys are a threat to your team. KV-2, even if there's one guy on the cap, the KV-2 is not going to get to the cap, right? The T-29, 2 guys on cap, he's not going to get to the cap. The only guy that could potentially get to the cap were the T-34-1 that was way over here, which is going to be a little bit sketchy. It was going to be close, but there wasn't a whole lot that you could do about that guy because he was literally, 700 meters away from you. Or this 5100 that you saw driving across the mill. The 5100 is absolutely going to get back to cap on time, right? And so that 5100 wasn't even very smart. Like when somebody shot at him the first time, he stopped and he like shot back at them. That allowed you to try to get a shot at him. And then when you shot at him later, he stopped and he shot at you twice. And at that point, you want to get that guy's attention as much as possible because if that 5100 drives towards you, you win the game. Like that wins you the game. Because nobody else is going to be able to get to your guys on the cap. So just try to keep that in mind. And I always try to emphasize this on steps encounter, on a lot of different encounter maps. I want to say probably at least half of them. Playing the team goal side gives you just such a huge advantage. I mean, again, I just want to emphasize the fact that you sent 1 tier 7 and 2 light tanks to the east. And you almost won this game. I would argue that you should have won this game, right? And that's all that you sent there. But you guys did essentially the right things. You didn't execute well in the end, but it didn't matter what the rest of your team did. It didn't matter if the rest of your team did 0 damage. You still had a chance to win that game. And I can't possibly emphasize that enough. Okay, so if we look at the stats, T-43, pretty good. I mean, some of those shots were kind of long distance with Russian medium guns, isn't that great, but can't argue with the 4K damage. That was very good. Yeah, man. You didn't get a whole lot. Oh, it was a 12T. That was the other tank on the side. Oh no, I did say I said 12T. 12T in the PZ38 and 8. Where's our other? Here's the other Rockstar that did 71 damage in his PZ38. So anyways, yeah, I mean, I 100% felt like you showed up well in that game, despite the fact that you didn't really get huge contributions out of the rest of your team. Nice try though. I mean, it's one of my pet peeves is understanding what your team needs to do to pull out that win, without doing, a ton of damage from the rest, without getting a ton of damage from the rest of your tanks. Nice try though. GG. T69 is probably about the same speed as a T34-1, and I wanted to say that he was further behind them, because the T you have to remember, when the 5100 spotted your guys on the cap, the T69 was still not lit, right? And there were 5 seconds left on the cap. So the question is, in 5 seconds, could the T69 have turned that corner and gotten a reset or lit for RD? Because that was the difference in the game. 5 seconds. So just something to keep in mind.